name too. But of course, live production cloud was also powered by Wizardly TriCaster Vector, which is basically NDI native messaging solution which runs in cloud. At the same time, we had Replay, which was used for replay. It is also a solution that can be hosted in cloud. Of course, on-prem is an option anyway, but Replay was running in cloud in order to deliver that. We use Wiz Arena, which is on-the-field AR solution that is powered by AI capabilities of setting up the tracking, doing team on the field, and of course the replay or analysis tools solution, which is with River. Physical studios, transmission towers, satellite uplinks, and hardware playouts. Now the broadcasting is becoming software workloads, cloud hosted playouts, AI-assisted content, processing, IP-based global distributed system. So these are the right things which are supporting, and the broadcasting is also entering into the real moment. It is already entered, and it has entered very systematically, and in the process where the people could not notice that the broadcasting has also adapted the nature network. People say that the transformation of the telecom from services to the bucket switch was done through a systematic and with a deliberate process of this. But here the broadcasting system transformation is happening organically utilizing the both other systems transformation and infrastructure. With cloud, you have the opportunity to grow your revenue. Okay, with on-prem, you're locked to whatever hardware you have, and there's only so many workflows you can run at a time. For example, if Dazon, for example, in that use case, let's say there were like multiple football games happening at the same time, exactly at the same time. You just don't have the capacity to play them out at the same time, right? So that is one of the reasons why cloud is so powerful, is because of the burst capacity. And you can also tailor your redundancies as you need, right? You want higher SLA, you can have channels or programs that are you're transmitting with much higher SLAs because you have regional redundancies, which is not again possible with on-prem. Your on-prem is also a single source of failure, right? Like if your data center goes down, you're dead in the water. You can't transmit anything. All the monetization capabilities are gone. Whereas with if it's a premium event that you're broadcasting, you can have the level of redundancy that you want, not only in the cloud, but you can also have maybe a what we call a DR box that's sitting in the sitting on an on-prem if you need that level of redundancy. So yeah, coming back, I just wanted to let like I don't think it's a choice. The sooner you get on and it dovetails into the AI question, right? The sooner you get on the cloud bandwagon, it's better for you, because ultimately we are just like witnessing technology waves sweeping up against us, right? You had IP based workflows, then we had cloud based workflows. Now we are seeing AI based workflows, and these are only going to get faster and faster and more disruptive as we go along. So you can just be on the shore and let the tsunami hit you, or you can take your surfboard and start riding the wave. The choice is yours, but I think you're better off riding the wave and going down that path. In terms of AI, we are already seeing, we already have a product at Amagi, really quickly, where we're seeing scheduling, for instance, being done through AI. So you don't need an operator sitting and figuring out the schedule based on data that is collected based on viewership data as well as your media library. AI can figure out what kind of schedule makes sense. We're also seeing AI being applied in other use cases such as monitoring. We want to start there, and eventually we can think of dark knocks or even agentic operator live operations. All of this is probably further down the road, but we want to start with something like a monitoring solution, which is probably more easier to knock down at this point with AI.
Thanks. That's a really good perspective. So, Jackson, the last question, maybe just to wrap it up, like if you look at the future, do you think there'll be a scenario in the broadcast world where it'll be entirely software and cloud driven and no on-prem hardware at all? Do you feel that could be there? And if you, I know you'll say yes, you're from AWS, but when do you feel that could happen?
So I will say yes, and I'll give you an example. I think Subodh will remember this. 2010, when we used the backpack for the first time, I covered the presidential visit of Barack Obama in 2010. I used a backpack, and all of the other broadcasters were using an OB van. And everyone used to come and see what is this device. And as of today, we have almost all of the broadcasters relying on backpack and using very less of OB vans, right? And I would say that this is going to happen the same with broadcast as well, wherein most of the broadcasters will be using cloud and less of on-prem and worrying less about how much diesel I have in the tank to run my genset, because we know that most of our facilities are, we have power disruptions and we need gensets to run. Where is my UPS AMC? Do I have to renew my UPS AMC or air condition? You have to worry less about it and focus more on content and the content production and what you're delivering to your audience, right? So that is where the cloud comes into picture, and also diving into AI. AWS has got a lot of solutions on AI, wherein we are helping broadcasters uh, do their standards and practices. Because let's say there is a vulgar language or a vulgar scene, or let's say cigarette smoking, you'll have to mandatory display that cigarette smoking is injurious to health. That tag has to be displayed. So we are helping broadcasters identify it and overlay it in an automated way. So, like my friend said over here, that in future, what we see is that a lot of workloads can be moved onto agentic, so that the human can focus on the creative part, right? So that's my point of view.
Thank you. I'll just kind of have to summarize what I heard from everyone here. I think from Subodh, he kind of said that consumers are shifting to digital and that technology has to follow. And, now this great mix of technologies is there. And a great, I think the Olympic torch bearing case study was very interesting because of course you kind of balance the fact that it's not just cost saving, but it's really the operating efficiency, the speed, and all the other advantages. And of course, I think the European football broadcast was a great example, and also the fact that it's happening across different applications. Mahendraji, of course, I think you mentioned that there's a whole transformation in technology across sectors, and specifically with respect to balancing sovereignty, control. Different industries will have different perspectives, and that's a very important dimension too when you look at it. Shankar, I think you, of course, have a great range of solutions, powered across the world from North America to Asia Pac. But I think you are pretty vehement. It's non-negotiable, the move to cloud, and it's, ride the tsunami or surf the tsunami. And Jackson, of course, I think great mix of different things. I like the bucketing of solutions into the three different dimensions. And yeah, I think the whole point you're saying is don't worry so much about your assets, infra, focus on your core job, content, production. So that's a great dimension. And you also mentioned that there was a 13x productivity increase. I think this panel has done that with the audience. We have a 13x growth from the start to the end of the session.
So the session is primarily about how to monetize in a world which is getting more and more complicated, more and more fragmented, more and more options with a very fickle audience and a very flirting audience where we move from one channel to the other, from one platform to the other, from one medium to the other within seconds. और उसका नतीजा भी ये हो गया है कि एक चीज़ आ गई है शॉर्ट फॉर्म प्रोग्रामिंग रील्स जो 30 seconds 25 seconds which I can see at least three for you of you are right now also involved in, right? Short form programming because it tickles the mind. So right from
गोइंग बैक टू 35 years, अनिल जी, जब दूरदर्शन पे यूज टू वेट कोई अच्छा प्रोग्राम आएगा, चित्रहार आता था, ऑल ऑफ यू इनफैक्ट, राइट, एक्सेप्ट फॉर आमिर, आई थिंक वी आर ऑल बैक पार्ट द सेम बैच. दिस गाय इज a young one, but we recall the lovely good days of चित्रहार. एंड रात को न्यूज आनी है. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे प्राइवेटाइजेशन हुआ, और 2000 में आई गॉट द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू जॉइन स्टार. लकीली केबीसी हो गया, and KBC became the Mahabharat or the Ramayana of that time. I'll just give you a perspective how the industry has evolved so that we can all be on the same page. So जब KBC आया, we created a promo. It became so strong KBC that we created a promo. I was part of National Geographic and also involved with the star marketing and programming. तो उन दिनों बच्चन साहब से मीटिंग्स होती थी, बात होती थी, एंड बच्चन साहब was not doing very well in big on the big screen, but TV में he became a very big hit. And the most obvious promo to make for KBC was, वो रात को 9 बजे आता था KBC, और उसका सबसे जो सक्सेसफुल प्रोमो था, that promo was 9 बज गए क्या, you know, that said it all. And Mr. Bachchan in his voice would say 9 बज गए क्या. That basically meant 9 बजे मतलब curfew. And if you want to travel from one point of the city to the other, any part of the country at 9 o'clock, it was practically a curfew. और वो एक टाइम था जब सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल भी था, एडवर्टाइजिंग मॉडल भी था. डोंट वरी, दिस इज नॉट आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट, दिस इज ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द टॉपिक. So that was a time when subscription was there. स्टार में हमें याद है, ओखला के ऑफिस में, अनिल जी, यू आर आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, केबल ओनर्स, केबल ऑपरेटर्स वुड बी स्टैंडिंग आउटसाइड द ऑफिस कि स्टार का डब्बा दे दो, स्टार प्लस का डब्बा दे दो. एंड वी यूज्ड टू वेयर दिस एक्सपेंसिव जैकेट्स कि इनको डब्बा दे दो, इनको डब्बा नहीं देना, यू नो, ये कौन कितना रेवेन्यू लाएगा. वी आर डूइंग थाउजेंड्स ऑफ करोर्स ऑफ सब्सक्रिप्शन रेवेन्यू. एंड along with the subscription revenue, एडवर्टाइजिंग रेवेन्यू was great. दोनों चीज चल रही थी. एडवर्टाइजिंग रेवेन्यू, स्टार प्लस हैड टच 2.5 lakhs per 10 seconds, जो अनदेखा है. अगर आप रियल एस्टेट का इंडेक्स लगाओगे तो प्रॉपर्टी जो 4,000 की थी आज 3 लाख हो गई, ऑलमोस्ट 30x. सो 2.5 लाख को अगर आप 30 से मल्टीप्लाई करो, दैट्स 75 लाख रुपए आज की वैल्यू फॉर 10 seconds. अनहर्ड ऑफ. सो दैट वाज अ टाइम वेयर चैनल्स वर लिमिटेड. केबीसी के टाइम सिर्फ केबीसी आता था, कोई ओटीटी नहीं था, कोई यूट्यूब नहीं था, नेट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट, सो एवरीवन वाज वाचिंग ओनली केबीसी. एंड टू गिव इट अ कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ टीआरपीज, टेलीविजन रेटिंग पॉइंट्स उस समय 10 टच कर गया था केबीसी का. सो टीआरपी ऑफ 10 इन लेमैन, टीआरपी तो आप सबने सुना है, यू कैन ऑल रेज योर हैंड्स, सो आई नो वी आर ऑल अवेक. Okay, we got 80% is awake, 20 is still sleeping. So TRPs, I'll explain to you in a layman's language. TRP बहुत simple term है. What TRP basically tells you, TRP of 10 means कि अगर भारत की पॉपुलेशन 100 है और इस टाइम 100 लोग देख सकते थे और 10 है पॉपुलेशन, तो 10 देख रहे हैं मिनट ऑन मिनट, सेकंड ऑन सेकंड. आज की डेट में जो हाईएस्ट टीवीआर आती है 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 10 मतलब उस समय अगर 100 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन थी, ऑन एन एवरेज हर सेकंड, हर मिनट 10 करोड़ लोग कंटिन्यूसली देख रहे थे. इमेजिन द पावर ऑफ मीडिया एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम.
If you remember in 80-85, चित्रहार एंड महाभारत, तो सबको याद होगा. आई यूज द सेम इंग्लिश, बट आई रिमेम्बर कि एक एक प्रोग्राम आता था चौपाल, और उसमें ये बोलते थे ना कि गन्ने के खेत में करिया करिया कीड़े लग जाते, तो हम उसको भी देखते थे, बिकॉज दैट टाइम देयर वाज ओनली वन मोड ऑफ कंटेंट दैट यू यूज्ड टू कंज्यूम. The star story that you have shared is basically is that time it's one to many, or that kind of concept, because star, like, when you're creating a content, there was only one god, like, star plus kind of people that they can just bless you, and then you can go in, you can sell some content kind of thing. I'll just give you a small background. Like, I used to work with a very different industry like Pepsi, Dabur kind of thing, and suddenly I just joined a company called T Series in 2003. And that time Bhushan said that, we are starting something in digital. So for me, like, it was like, they are starting some mobile phone kind of thing. So they may launch. And when I joined, I realized that there is a event that we have attended in Netherlands. And we realized that is something is happening with the content in the digital ecosystem. And I remember I met someone in LG, and they said ki that, I need 5 songs from you in T series, and I'll give you 30 phones. अरे यार, क्या बढ़िया बिजनेस है यार. 5 गाने देके 30 फोन मिल जाते हैं यहाँ पर. So that time we were not aware that the ringtone business is growing. So we have seen that digital ecosystem from monotone to polytone. And when iTunes came to India and they've asked for the metadata, so we are the first company who's converted all the files into the digital content, because the metadata was the first invention in this ecosystem, if you remember. The current problem, I think it's not a problem that it's a subscription or award problem. The problem is that it's a discovery in the content.
Yeah.
So people in the morning, they are not getting up with the concept that today I will watch YouTube, I'll watch Netflix.
It's all
So
impulsive.
yeah, so it's all impulsive, and Saturday, Sunday, you may decide that I'll watch this movie and I'll watch this content. But mostly when you are in gym, when you are, traveling and all these things, it's all that the content, that how you are creating a content, and then basis that scale and the community, then you will define, once scale is there, whether you are utilizing this through AWOD or SWOD. Because in India, I think it will take some time to create a profitable business only using AWOD kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more like a combination where people, they are creating a structure, people, they are coming in, using the content, and then converting into a funnel, which is a paid funnel kind of thing. So I think it's a complicated structure in India,
Yeah.
and I still believe that, like Amir said, that there is a Playbox, there is a Airtel, there is a Xiaomi, there is a Samsung. It's confusion. It's
Yeah.
basically we are creating confusion only. That's it. So distribution is basically a challenge at this point of time.
It's a big
But
challenge.
again, mostly money people they are taking or earning is basically Meta and Google, wherein you are spending roughly about 60-70% to
Yeah.
just acquire one paid consumer
Yeah.
at this.
So, like when you produce content, there are two avenues available to you. You can collect advertisement revenue, and if that is sufficient, you can be free to air. If that is not sufficient and the content is popular, you can go for a pay mode also.
Yeah.
More number of advertisement, actually, consumer is not happy. Today also, you watch so much content coming on YouTube, but you would want to subscribe to premium because you are fed up of the ads coming in between, and they are breaking the content flow also. In India, of course, pure subscription based channels without ad didn't work. So a combination always devolved. There was another issue in linear. You had the licensing condition said you can't provide content directly. Then there was an aggregator, which was MSO or the platform DPO. And they were partners. Like in cable, they were cable operators. If everything was free, they won't have a business model.
Yeah.
Because if you take content for free and sell it for free, how will you make money? The advisor will give money only to the broadcasters. So a subscription model has evolved. In terms of these new so-called big giants, and what they own is an app
Correct.
available
They
on
only
your
own the
mobile,
app and the technology, and they speak English well, so we
and
buy
they
it from them.
control your entire revenue
Yes.
stream of advertisement. So their invention is an app which you have downloaded and now you are hooked to it. They are not, we call them big tech companies. I say that they don't have a technology background. They are basically an advertisement company who uses technology to garner ads. And they have made so much money through advertisement that their services to consumers are free.
Yeah.
And there is another challenge that broadband comes from another service provider. The Due to net neutrality, it is not bundled.
Correct.
So it comes from another service provider, and who charges for the service, and you write your content through free on it.
इसमें ना दो बहुत बड़े challenges हैं. एक तो entertainment business है, which gets sacrificed because of the global onslaught of, again, Indian talent, Indian artists, Indian audience, Indian money, and 50% goes abroad because the guys created an application. जो बहुत बड़ा एक चैलेंज हो रहा है और ये बहुत बड़ा थ्रेट होने वाला है, एंड आई स्पोक एट द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग एज वेल, इज आवर न्यूज डोमेन. टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट न्यूज एडिटोरियली कुछ लेवल तक वी कैन मैनेज, बट अगर वही न्यूज का रेवेन्यू 50% यूट्यूब दे रहा है, तो कल मार्क जकर डिसाइड करेगा या MIB विल डिसाइड, right? So tomorrow, because YouTube, all these channels are now on YouTube and they're getting the maximum audience from YouTube, and that's where the biggest revenue comes from, which is a little bit of a threat and gradually बढ़ता चला जा रहा है. Right now, it's almost 30%. It was 25-20% when we spoke last year. And if this trend continues, it might hit 50%. And the moment hit 50%, your news editorial dependence is not on advertising or on what they say, it is on what the US dictates.
And Trump has been very friendly to us, which is evident. So it's not a great scenario, right? So
So that just to add to what Pankaj said, you want to take a downlinking license for news? Try getting it from MIB. 6 months and all the clearances, you would be lucky to launch, right?
it's that
But
difficult.
you want to launch a YouTube channel on simply buy a camera in a small room, sit and start your news channel.
What
So
a
easy,
dichotomy! What a
so
dichotomy!
easy. And see, the customer won't know the difference if it is coming on a big screen. He won't know the difference
No,
whether it
even
is
on the
coming from.
mobile, you can simulcast on the big screen.
That is what I'm saying.
Same thing, exactly the same
So
thing.
that's a challenge, for our, you see, regulated news industry and the people who have started news channel just for the heck of it.
They've
I,
started.
I just want to add one point to Sir's.
Ahmed, thank you for speaking without me asking you to speak. So I'd like all of you to do that. Carry
Yeah,
on.
so basically, as Sir said, that this are the technology company who is trying to attract customers by showing ads. But I think in India, when it's come to OTT or when it's come to watching linear or any OTT, any kind of content, there are two kind of user. 20% of users knows what to watch and when to watch. Out of that 20%, 15% are the theater going audience. And 5% is those users who knows that tomorrow evening I'm going to watch Tashkari on Netflix and next day I'm going to watch Z5. But out of 90% of the audience doesn't know what to watch, where to watch. And these platforms help us kill time. Trust me, 90% of people sitting here are only using Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube only because they don't have at that moment nothing to do. And this creates billions of dollars in ad revenue. And no Indian company has able to solve this. We are on that journey. We're trying to do that. But I feel this is the biggest challenge.
It is a big, big challenge. You're welcome, Ajay, if you want to add or disagree with anyone. I'll be happy if you disagree and we
No,
create a
I
fight
don't
here.
disagree with anybody. I'm from the service side. I provide services to the broadcasters for last 3 decades. Now, the broadcaster, the content provider, they say, "Where's the money? Show us the money." So this is the biggest challenge now. You are talking about the big star and other big content company. They are making money, but majority of the broadcasters, they are not making money today. They say, "Where is the money? Show us the money."
Yeah.
So that this is the topic of the discussion: monetization of the content. So we need to see how we can monetize better, how we can monetize. You are you criticize YouTube, but when I talk to most of the content provider or the news channels, the maximum money they are earning today is from YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is making them, uh,
No,
they are
so
contributing to their expenses.
no 30 no, they are. What I'm trying to say, sir, आप शायद समझ में YouTube कर रहा है, but that is the worry, ना?
As a broadcaster, if you collect advertisement through an agency, you will pay 10%, 15% commission to the agency for getting the ad. It is reverse in digital.
Yeah.
You get 10, 15% of that ad pie, the rest is kept by the platform.
Correct.
Now that's the challenge because they have their own ad agencies. They are media agencies basically. They collect advertisement, they decimate it to the customer. They know the customer profile, they don't share it with you. So that's the challenge, that the pie has gone in their favor in digital domain. That is why their revenues are growing and the broadcasting revenues are coming down.
Actually,
Even if
Anil,
you are the producing the
Anil
content.
ji, इसमें we need to understand one thing that right now we are saying that the elephant in room is YouTube. But if you just go back, like, 10 years back, I remember that there was a part of T-Series and we have filed the lawsuit against the YouTube that you cannot create a platform where people they can come and they can upload the content. You need to remove our content because that time even that was a IP kind of,
Correct.
the challenges were there. But the even there is a positive side also if you see that right last year they paid roughly about 20,000 crore rupees to the creator community in India.
Yes.
If you see 12 years back or 15 years back, there was a challenge when you're creating a content where you will put your content,
Absolutely.
how you will publish your content. That was a challenge. But
Yeah.
today, at least as an creator, you have a freedom that you can upload the content. So Tare Sitare Zami Pe is is a classic example wherein he was getting roughly about 120 crore rupees from Netflix, but he decided because of some, I know the behind the room story also, but he's decided that I'll put this content on YouTube. It was an experiment, but it was unsuccessful for the producers. नोबडी मेड मनी ऑन सितारों की ज़मीं। जो उसको 120 करोड़ रुपए मिल रहा था, वो पैसा नहीं बना यूट्यूब पे।
So sorry,
बट
before you finish or after you finish, we are more interested in knowing what happened behind the scenes. Everyone was keen because when he said, "I know behind the scenes," people left the phone. They said, "क्या अभी बोलेगा?"
no, so actually,
You tell us behind the
actually
scenes.
now Netflix also, the model that they are creating, it's not that they are saying that we'll pay you 100 rupees. Now they are saying that if we'll pay you 100 rupees, it's linked with the box office collection.
Correct.
So they'll pay you 50 rupees right now. And basis 50 rupees is like a, the
Incentive.
incentives kind of
But the
thing.
box office
And
already, what's
basis the
happened?
box office collection, they will release this 50 rupees.
Correct. But the box office has already been done, ना? वो तो पहले release हो चुका, like Dhurandhar, for
Correct.
example.
So,
है ना?
but आप बेचते कब OTT?
Thank you very much. Looking forward to staying connected, and I hope you guys had a great time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ria, and thank you, Ria, there, for getting us on. Thank you so much.
The next session, titled AI Driven Content Creation Ethics, Opportunities, and Regulation,
on what I think is perhaps one of the more important and growing areas within the media, on perhaps for all of the digital space, and how the digital space aligns with our living space, because AI is touching every living space that we live within, whether it is medical, whether it is digital, whether it is war, defense, whether it is space. AI is penetrating purely and very deeply into those spaces. But yes, we see more of it within the media spectrum because that is what we see more easily. And also it impacts all of our lives. So the as we all know, the subject for our topic today is AI driven content and how it interweaves with ethics. The opportunities from this AI that the media space will get, and also the regulatory framework that is required. Now, what I will just speak for 1 or 2 minutes before I request my other panelists. I have a very distinguished panel with me. I think they will as they are practitioners in these areas and in relevant areas. I think they will be able to bring some clear some confusion and some doubts that we have around this area because this is a growing area and all of us are still learning, and in fact every day we realize without understanding that AI is growing more within our lives, whether it is so now, whether it is fake news, whether it is I think copyright, whether it is of course deep fakes. These are the areas of concern. Now, there are areas which will help us, whether it is the efficiency that it promises within the newsroom, whether it is the better monetization and better data utilization that it promises. So it has areas of promise, it has areas of concern.
मीडिया में एआई को अभी सिर्फ ड्रोन एंगल से देखा जा रहा है। मीडिया ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट्स की बात करता है, ग्राउंड ज़ीरो की बात करता है, लेकिन ज़रूरत है कि एआई को भी ग्राउंड ज़ीरो पर जाकर समझा जाए। सी इट्स नॉट अ टेक्निकल टूल टू मीडिया। ये केवल एक तकनीकी सुविधा नहीं है हम मीडिया वालों के लिए। और जब मैं मीडिया बोलता हूँ तो उसमें इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया भी आता है, प्रिंट मीडिया भी आता है, एडवर्टाइज़मेंट मीडिया इंडस्ट्री भी आती है और इसके अलावा सोशल मीडिया भी आता है। तो जब हम इन सब की बात करते हैं तो हम ये जानते हैं कि एआई के आने के बाद एक क्रांति की हम लोग उम्मीद कर रहे हैं। मैं सिर्फ उम्मीद इसलिए कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि अभी बहुत सारे बग्स फिक्स होने हैं, अभी बहुत सारे अपग्रेड्स आने हैं, अभी बहुत सारे अपडेट्स होने हैं। एक बात समझने की बहुत सख्त तौर पर ज़रूरत है यहाँ और वो ये कि एआई ड्रिवन मीडिया कंटेंट जो है, वो हमारी रचनात्मकता को यानी हमारी क्रिएटिविटी को, हमारी सोच को केवल विस्तार दे सकता है, विकल्प नहीं है उसका। माइन्यूट है बहुत। अभी गलती क्या हो रही है कि हम उसे विकल्प के तौर पर देख रहे हैं, विस्तार के तौर पर नहीं देख रहे। बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि एआई आया है। बहुत सारे लोगों को एआई रिलेटेड अपॉर्च्युनिटीज़ भी मिली हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोगों की अपॉर्च्युनिटीज़ खत्म भी हुई हैं। हमारे हाथ में चाकू होता है, तय हमें करना होता है कि हमें उससे सब्ज़ी काटनी है, अपनी उँगली काटनी है या फिर किसी की गर्दन काटनी है। सो एआई इज़ लाइक दैट नाइफ। चर्चा इस बात पर नहीं होनी चाहिए कि एआई कितना क्रिएटिव है सर। चर्चा इस बात पर होनी चाहिए कि हम एआई को कितना क्रिएटिव डायरेक्शन दे सकते हैं अपने काम के लिए। हम अभी सिर्फ एआई पे डिपेंडेंट हो रहे हैं। बहुत जगह मैंने सुना और वो सही बात है कि एआई को असिस्टेंट की तरह इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, मैनेजर की तरह इस्तेमाल नहीं करना चाहिए। हमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि जब हम एआई बोलते हैं, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस बोलते हैं, तो उसके नाम में आर्टिफिशियल ऑलरेडी जुड़ा हुआ है। वो आर्टिफिशियल है, इट्स नॉट रियल। स्पीड है सर, स्केलेबल है, कम पैसे में आपको केवल एक सब्सक्राइब करना है और वहां से आपको कंटेंट मिलेगा, खाली आपको प्रॉम्प्ट देना है। तो क्या हुआ कि जो लोग 5 लोग मिलकर के जो काम करते थे 5 दिन में, 5 लाख रुपए लगते थे, वो सब बहुत नॉमिनल हो गया। अब एक आदमी कर रहा है 5 घंटे में और कई बार तो 5 मिनट में। मीडिया में तो काम बहुत फास्ट होता है, जल्दी चाहिए, रिक्रिएशन जल्दी चाहिए। और पैसे भी मुश्किल से 5,000 रुपए साल के खर्च हो रहे हैं, जहाँ 5 लाख रुपए खर्च होते थे। लेकिन मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि जब स्पीड सच्चाई से आगे निकल जाती है, तो भरोसा टूट जाता है और पीछे छूट जाता है। मीडिया आज इसी अकाउंटेबिलिटी और क्रेडिबिलिटी के दौर से गुजर रहा है, जहां पर क्रेडिबिलिटी डेफिसिट है, अकाउंटेबिलिटी डेफिसिट है। लोग भरोसा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं।
He had gone to a place called Baka a few weeks back to see if a film city can be created with the government. When the chopper landed, there were 150 people who were all content creators. They covered, they edited, they distributed, and they monetized. Just this part of us landing, getting down, seeing the land, and going back with a bureaucrat and an actress from Bihar. When you see what they created, would put a lot of the current generation content creators to shame in the larger towns. You take Banka, you take Puralia, you take one more district next to it, is the size of Sri Lanka. So I'm coming from the other side that AI has brought a different kind of democracy, upliftment, and monetization to a skill which resides there. And it reminds me, uh, Malhotra sir is here, of the cable operator days where the guy learned how to put a small head end. He learned how to put a wire on his own and he created a parallel economy. That is happening in small towns today. And a lot of this is actually happening because of AI. The lack of a tutor is more often than not fulfilled by the AI agent. And after that trip, instead of talking of a big film city, much to the charm of the people who had gone with me, I said, no, this is not the right model. The right model is create a small film city in every small town, a few editable machines, lots of AI, because the content creator is there. So while regulation, all of that has to be there, but I think the point which I really wanted to make was that there's a new economy which is already created. If you add the views of those 100 people who made reels, it would far surpass what the news channel actually got. The second point to this is Of course, AI, at least as I see, it's brought a different kind of democracy. Of course, when you talk of democracy, there has to be a constitution, I think, which you were talking of. Uh,
That's what regulation is, I think. That's what you're talking about.
right. The other spectrum of it, in 2025, China released two movies. Uh, Normally, that movie would have taken 2.5 years to be shot. It was shot in 6 months because every touch point, pre, post, including monetization, was assisted by AI. So there's a whole new, uh, the EBITDA, which would be 15% of an asset, all of a sudden becomes 25 to 30% because AI has helped save time and money both during the life cycle of that asset. Just these 2 points I thought I'll put across, that there's something happening in uh, the districts and below. And second, you save 35 to 40%, bringing at times a defunct industry to life because the EBITDA changes.
People who are in remote places, AI, I think, social media and then AI have definitely democratized the news gathering, or the not only the news gathering, the creativity spectrum. Anyone can, anyone is an anchor, anyone is posting short films, medium films. They can make them and post them. With how they can reach a larger number depends sometimes on luck and sometimes on someone pushing them. And AI, of course, brings in efficiency, and also it gives the creativity tools. Also, what you said, that it will bring in efficiency in the production of filmmaking or television production, which will lower the cost within an industry which is already strained financially. But the points Mr. Muskan brought out were that we must always remember that AI हमें मतलब वो विस्तार कराएगा हमारा.
जी,
It is not the basic.
an
It
option.
is, yes. It is just will strengthen whatever we have and can bring whatever depth to whatever we are doing.
AI, as we understand, is nothing but a learning model. We are teaching it for free. So we are definitely the products. We feel we are consuming AI, AI is consuming us. This is not to say AI is good or bad. It's just to be aware, and I'm sure everybody is aware, but the ease that it brings. Muskan was right. It is supposed to ease our work. It's a tool. It's not our Bible. It's probably to learn the Bible better or the Gita better. It is not the Gita. Don't make it the Gita. Please.
I think, yes,
Just ma'am.
please. No,
Please go
please.
ahead.
I think I'm speaking.
I think a very important part, as Rahul mentioned about the UGC, the user generated content, which is part of the new media, and there is no regulation over there. So definitely there is a regulation, because in order to have the more views and more likes, people are putting XYZ, which is not required. So there's no regulation required. But on the other side, the traditional media, I think it is very important, and ma'am, because you're from Doordarshan, and of course there are private channel and people sitting here listening, and there are people on YouTube watching us, and there'll be people later watching us as well. I think the editorial responsibility is the most important aspect which we need to bear in mind as we go along, in order to have some kind of a control. And also the narrative correction. It's I've seen media since 30 years, and I've been with domestic and international. I think narrative is the buzzword these days as we go along, especially in the new media and the traditional media. I think that need to be corrected as to what will be the narration. I'll take you back when Bombay was attacked. Every news channel was giving live, and people sitting in the other side of the border were actually communicating as to where to go, where not to go, which was a mistake of media, which we realized. I'll take you during the Operation Sindoor days. Lot of channels, forget about the UGC, the YouTubers. Lot of channels were also actually showing the movement of the army in the various areas, where I actually expected the editorial control not to show these kind of things, which is very, very important, especially in tough times. Because in order to break the news, in order to have the more TRP, we often forget the thin line that we need to adhere to. I think it is very, very important. Maybe it's a part of the self regulatory control that we need to have, or we have some danda on our head to have this very much in control. But I think there is a control which is very much required as we go along.
आप सब लोगों को मैं धन्यवाद दूंगी
I'm very happy to chair this session, and I have eminent experts from the field of journalism, communication, and they have held leadership positions in their organizations. I will, before I ask the first of the participants to speak, I will make a few points. How news and communication, they have been important in mitigating the impact of disasters. Just remember, just go back to 1999. There was cyclone in Odisha, and death toll at that time was about 10,000. Then I come to other cyclones because that east coast is cyclone prone. Cyclone Falin, it was in 2013, and death toll was not even in 3 digits. It was just 80. Cyclone Fani, it was in 2019. Death toll was again not even in 3 digits. So 10,000 down to that, and the intensity of those cyclones, the wind speed, it was almost similar. Why did it happen? Because the state of Odisha, they learned from their past experience, and communication played a very important role in it. In fact, there was a large scale evacuation at the time of Cyclone Falin. The figures which I could get from the coastal areas, they evacuated about 1 million people, and it was all thanks to communication. Today, you see the news journalists, they are risking their lives going to the coastal area, going to the earthquake areas, going to the high Himalayas where glacial must have taken place. When we are going to discuss this topic here, so we are going to examine the challenges, what has been written in the topic, challenges, technologies, and responsibilities. Challenges are there, but I will little bit touch on responsibilities. The social media, we say that democratization of media, it brings with it so many other complexities, that is misinformation. During this Kerala floods, there was misinformation that the dam has burst. There was large scale of displacements taking place just because of influence of social media. One more thing is that sometimes news is there unless it is augmented, it is taken to the people in time, there is no point of it. I come to the Kedarnath disasters. 2013, Kedarnath floods, about 6,000 people were killed. There were already warnings that there is going to be heavy rain in the high Himalayas catchment areas. But that warning was not heeded. So this is the point where I'm talking about disasters. A little bit I will touch on this war zones and conflicts. So many journalists are killed during reporting. In 2024, the data which I could get, 124 journalists were killed they were reporting from the war zones. So, but it has become a very specialized area, war zone reporting, and new technologies have come up. People want to know that what is happening there, and it is not just people want to know what is happening there. Those who are trapped in those areas, for them to save their lives, this war zone reporting is extremely important. So that is these are my introductory remarks. I would like to start with Mrs. Priya Kumar, and I can't resist from introducing her because we have worked very closely together, and she has saved me from many disasters in the newsroom.
Since the topic today is reporting for wars and disasters, by the name itself, it is a very difficult area for news reporting. There are many challenges. I mean, the situation is such, it's a chaotic environment, there's a damaged infrastructure, there is very limited access to correct information. And on top of it, it's a very emotionally surcharged kind of a situation because there is a traumatized population. So this is the kind of situation where news would operate it because it is our job to get the information to the public. While I speak about the challenges, I think this is also like Mayank sir just mentioned, immense responsibility on media because media has the power to influence the outcomes. And this is a situation where lives are at stake. So I think we have the challenges, we have the powers, but comes the responsibility. And I think today, the biggest responsibility, and I think many panels, even the earlier panel has talked about it, is the challenge of credibility, speed versus accuracy. I think when we start reporting on wars and disasters, we should forget about the race of TRPs or the race of breaking news that we are in, because any small misinformation has the power to cause immense damage. So I think the first responsibility of us as media is to bring the information in a very credible manner and not fall into this trap of breaking news. We have seen past instances, even when Operation Sindoor happened, for instance, I was in the newsroom and and we had, in DD News, we are very, very editorially very strong in the sense that we value the credibility. And I think even the public values DD News for its credibility. So we were here, we had the information while we saw on TV all kinds of information flowing, and my editors were asking, like, we don't have this. So we were like very sure that no, no, we are not in this race. We have to give the correct information. And I think that is the biggest responsibility of media in such situations. And in fact, today, in the age of AI, as well as the social media, where every person I think is a journalist, the citizen is empowered to bring any kind of news. And I think when negativity happens, social media is the first to make it viral. So here we have to guard against what information is flowing to us, whether it is correct. We have to check it before we put it out. We can be late. I mean, in DD News, I think we are very, very clear that we would be little late, but we will not put out information which is not verified. Similarly, in fact, another responsibility is to check even the misinformation which is flowing. So I think the responsibility of media in wars and disasters is much more than in normal reporting situation.
Look at what is happening in Middle East. Look at what is happening in Ukraine on the Gaza issue. So now misinformation is really a weapon, and that is being used to really break down government action. They are also, and it is not confined only to government. With everything coming right here, so I think that is a major challenge that citizens are now actual very sort of when they really consume that news, those stories, those media narratives which are coming, and it might lead to either the boosting of morale of not just the army or the armed forces or the government personnel at disaster sites. So I think it's a very important point which we need to understand, and that is where I think the role of media agencies or and again you're talking about hybrid media, whatever you talk about, if there is an information vacuum, that is going to be a problem. So it is extremely important that, especially during a crisis, during wars, and we witness that, and we can have a. I can come back on Operation Sindoor, what exactly went right and wrong about it, and what can be done about it. But I think information vacuum is an enemy which we all need to understand because those moments of silence. and silences create a rumor. They generate rumors. They give exactly to cheap fakes, deep fakes, whatever we call it, and they fly faster than lies. So I think it is very important that uh, credible stories, credible news is coming out, which actually, in fact, is a force multiplier. And I think that really would assuage many concerns. And again, I mean, I am an IR international relations person, and what I can see is it is not just about managing your domestic audiences. It is also about strategic communication. And strategic communication, for example, Operation Sindhu was also about escalation control. So where are we headed? I mean, are we near Islamabad? Are we near Karachi? So each of those stories which were coming out from Indian media would have or had repercussions. And let's not forget, Pakistan is a nuclear neighbor. So I think those sorts of concerns also we need to be very careful. The media needs to be very careful on reporting or coming out on such stories. And again, as I said, I can come back on Operation Sindoor and what really happened there. Thank you.
I covered extensively the disasters, whether it is a flood, whether it's a cyclone. When they were mentioning these things, and from Odisha to Chennai to Kerala to Jaffna, Tiger Hill, Tiger Times, to name it. I mean, the earthquake. I was there, so I wanted to have it in a lighter way. And everybody used to say, Doc, when we see you on TV, we know whenever we notice a disaster, we know Wael Awad will come on the television. So I told my channel when we were in London before we shifted to Dubai. I said, why can't you send me to Miss Pageant, something that I can change my image and the people knows I am, whenever there is a war, disaster, earthquake, political coup, and anything, I am there. He said, well, that is the place. But then I realized, by the way, that Miss Pageant's reporting does not give you the limelight. So disaster was my limelight, and that's where I saved my skin. And that's why I brought this story to tell you, when I was embedded journalist with the United States troops when they invaded Iraq in 2003, I was captured by the Iraqi government and Iraqi government forces, and I was with the alliances forces. Of course, my car, my teams, and we had an equipment. We were going live from the field, and we had an ambush. I was shot at, and then they captured us and took us to custody. And then they thought I am a foreigner. I am an American with my blue eyes, fair looking. They didn't know that I'm an Arab, and I'm speaking fluent Arabic with them. They didn't believe. So among the crowd and the guns and the people were there, they said, no, 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 he's Wael Awad. I saw him in Kargil. I saw him in Kashmir, and I saw him in Afghanistan. So immediately, 50% of the people who wanted to beat me because I came with the American troops, they said, well, yeah, he is actually a foreign, he's a journalist. So I saved my skin. So sometime to report from disastrous places is a good omen for us as well as a journalist. But if I speak of my journey throughout the years, I can narrate the whole night for you because I'm a good orator on speaking on those lines. But I don't. I know that the times will not allow me constraints. So, but I'll tell you that we were reporting. For example, if when I was in Afghanistan before the fall of Taliban, Khushabahuddin with the North Alliance forces, we had to wait for maybe 6 hours till we go live, till we make the stories, till we do the accuracy, we'll do everything on the stories, and then we air it. So that's how the story goes.
The legacy of truth that Doordarshan represents in their news is is absolutely cannot be contested at all. In the US, when we carry Doordarshan in the United States, so whenever there is some news coming from India, the authenticity is always checked on Doordarshan through our channel. So thank you for playing the truth. Our channel also sells because of that. So that has been the tradition. And while, of course, Awad has been telling me that, has been telling us, he's also the president of our Foreign Correspondents Club. He says that truth may take the back seat. Yes, probably. But that's where, again, something like Doordarshan News comes, where you might be late. But still, what you say can be quoted and requoted and then read. That is the legend that newsmakers or journalists want to set, that every statement they made was the truth. It was never contested. Look at how Doordarshan covered the somebody was mentioning, right, Ajit Dada's death, demise in accident. And they covered it very, very holistically without succumbing to the pressure of showing more than what was actually there. Kudos to an organization who can still hold up like that. Along with that, there is also this thing which Mr. Agarwal said, that what's the point of having news if it is not spread at the right time, when he was talking about natural disasters. In the hills, they have their own system of cautioning. The people upstream have the system of cautioning people downstream when there is going to be an avalanche or a cloud burst. That is the role that Doordarshan or news channels play. Not Doordarshan, sorry, all news channels play. But when Mr. Agarwal said that, I'm aghast to realize that it's so true. A news that has been created but not disseminated is of no use. It becomes history very soon, and then the disaster is already played out. Yes, we have important roles. Along with that, the whole universe that does news, the the cameramen, the people who are in distribution, who see that the transmitters are working, they're all very important. And unfortunately, just as journalists get the eyeballs, but they are also very there, and that's where we have to also focus some time in the news business. Please, sir, back to you.
And thanks to all of you for patiently listening to us.
Friends, this year BES Expo theme for transforming the media landscape through AI, create, collaborate, and monetize. Create, collaborate, and monetize. It's very good theme. So you taken a very good uh, idea and taking further. Friends, the media industry in India, how it is evaluate. Early beginning, the newspaper industry, that is the only source for the uh, communicate to the newsers or whatever the uh, programs communicate through the newspapers. We have to wait 1 or 2 days or 3 days to reach the newspapers. And after that, satellite TVs, now the digital era. So immediately, so see, our creators are immediately creating the content. So this evaluation came, it's an good. Now everyone is the content creator. Early in the newspaper, the writers, editors, and some system was there to which one is going to publish, which one is not going to publish. The editors are sub editors, they decide. But now the content creator itself, whatever the content he want to, he can create and he can publish. So this is the in the digital era helping them. And as well as last year our honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji's vision that waves 2025, most of you participated. I think, I hope you are all participated in that first time a big event, such a big event coordinated all the entertainment sector the one place. Almost likely 77 country participants were there, and in India, all the major media heads, cinema industry, and electronic media, newspaper, even printing press. So all the industry and broadcaster, community radios, antennas, antenna manufacturers, like all the AI creators, animation, VFS, all the creators come forward. We such a big event, Waves 2025 last year, the beginning. We had that event, so you are all aware that our industry, creative industry is contributing the Indian uh, economic now, Indian uh, financial sector. The youngs youths, they are participating in this. So they are now how the technology is playing a huge role. We are seeing they need not to go to the studio, they need not go to the editor, they need not appoint the editors, nothing. Only simple mobile they are taking, and within a 30 second they are communicating. Even they are sitting somewhere in Wayanad, somewhere in Ooty forest area, and simply they communicate them, create within 30 seconds. So they are earning also. The industry is growing very fast. So for that, our Indian Institute of Creative Technology, the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, we've come forward to set up the institute to take up the creativity with the technology. So our Sunil team, they are coming forward of the AI, how the AI has to be included in this sector, and this is the theme this year. So like the technology, because of our Indian students, new youngsters, they uh, hope the technology will help them, the technology will boost them content to further taken to the global level, so that uh, we have the tradition is that in India we have the storytelling tradition is there with us. Same storytelling tradition mixed with the technology, so the technology takes the content to reach the all over the world, as well as the broadcasting sector. I mentioned the uh, newspapers, satellite TVs, digital media, OTT platforms, and our government took an initiative to the reach out of the border villages also. The border, our honorable Prime Minister always think the border villages is not a last village. The border villages is the first village of the country. So we want to be focused. So there also they want to be whatever the news or political events or our Indian cultural events has to reach to the first border villages. But for that also we are implementing some such a wonderful schemes there also. And friends, it's an our honorable Prime Minister mentioned in that waves create in India, create for the world. So this is the our honorable Prime Minister's message to the creative industry, and he urged with our youngsters to come forward to create the uh, uh, create in India for the world, engage with the expansion of creative ecosystem. So this system, the government and the ministry, we are all working for the uh, betterment of this sector. So now every new uh, technology, so it's VFS, animation, uh, so many AI. Now the AI is playing a huge crucial role in the creative industry. So friends, I congratulate the organizers to organize such a beautiful event, and I disturbed this Mayank Agarwal session. So the very wonderful session is shared this session, and all the dignitaries are here. They are discussing with you to take on the further height to the media and entertainment sector to the global level. And I congratulate. I think this is my fourth forthcoming our BES summit. So every year I am also participating. That is also very honor to me to with you, and all the broadcasters are here. The last year our government taken an initiative also, the because of your support. Almost tier 3 cities also we are reaching. Uh, um, Tier 3 cities, 80 839 FM channels across 313 cities. Accent, you are all participated in that. So I congratulate because your support, the FM, private FM stations are setting up in the tier 3 cities also, as well as the community radios also. It's very fast growing. The people are coming forward. Lagbhag 532 community radio stations are already established. So our government is ready to give further uh, licenses, further whatever the people are ready to come, we are ready to support. And our government is always Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas, like our Honorable Prime Minister's vision. We are working. Our Honorable Ashwin Vaishnavji is always giving importance to the sector. So we will work together. We will take up our country as a Viksit Bharat, towards the Viksit Bharat. We will work, and in this sector, it's a good sector. It's an entertainment sector, media and entertainment sector. We will take further. Thank you very much.
This is the 30th in the series of BES Expo. It started on 29th of January, and today, that is on 31st of January, it is concluding. As far as this expo is concerned, we had the exhibitors not only from India but from abroad also, and the exhibitors shown their solutions, their products pertaining to the engineering side as well as from the content side. It is good that the footfall happened to be quite good for 3 days, these 3 days, and what I believe, this is a platform which gives opportunity to the manufacturers and the system integrators from India as well as from outside for our own consumption purpose. These exhibitors, they come across the products which are in the pipeline or are in use by other competitors also, so they can learn what exactly is going on and what exactly they can go about. So I understand this is a very good platform, and Prasar Bharati, supported by Ministry of INB, ABU, this is a big opportunity both to the users and to the service providers. See, as far as artificial intelligence, it has become part. It is not an exclusive thing. It is part of any solution, be it in the graphics, be it in the cloud-based services, whether it is OTT or the integrated newsroom facilities. Everywhere AI is there. And what we have seen in this BES Expo, it's been immensely utilized. It had been shared with the users, how best they can utilize all those facilities. I believe Make in India is there and it is certainly possible. We had number of exhibitors who had shown their products, whether it is the streamers or the encoders or the display units or the studio lights, everywhere it was there. So I believe it is there and certainly it is possible. Thank you.